And that was Moira Limbini playing the famous Vitov Scherzo there of a 12-inch 78. And I'm vk3sl, test missions on 160 and also on UHF. Afternoon session, muggy afternoon. I'm only around for a very short time today. Just a very short, sharp and shiny session just to see if everything still works as it should. We'll be back again later on tonight. But we have a big FAM event at 6 o'clock. So just to fill in the gap, we'll spin a few 78s. So I think everything is on the go. Hope so. I walked in here a couple of minutes ago. And that was a random record off the shelf. Now, another such random offering is a locally pressed vocalion record, but it's actually an overseas group. It says the Roxy Dance Orchestra, who could be absolutely anybody, but it looks like a bit of fun. It's a track called Breakaway from about 1929, and if I remember correctly, this has a classic carbon mic ambience.
Get hot and shake away. It's got the snappiest syncopation. 3 times up on your heels. Oh boy, how good it feels. You get the happiest new sensation. Write a little note on your toes. Don't forget to dot the I's. Look at what you wrote. Goodness knows it's easy as pie. Come on and fake away. Get hot and shake away. You'll do the breakaway by and by.
Classic carbon mic compression on that recording from 1928-29-ish, I think.
Very carbon mic, wasn't it?
Yes, it had that compressed sound, that density. Characteristic sound. I better just take the needle off. How are you, Frank? How's it going?
Well, thank you. And you?
Yes, all fine and mild here. Yes,
That's good,
nothing
yes.
to report, really. It's just back at the coalface and I don't know, trying not to read the news.
Yeah, I know. I know.
So, yeah, I know. Stuff happens. But look, Yeah, nothing really to report. I'll be looking forward to a dizzy session tonight.
Oh, we're going dizzy, yes, that's right.
I think that was the plan, wasn't it?
Better
Well,
get busy.
yeah.
Get ready for dizzy.
yes, I'm busy for dizzy tonight. It'll be very spontaneous because I'll probably only get home minutes before, and
Yes.
and
You
so
might be a bit dizzy yourself.
I might be a bit dizzy. It's very possible. Yes, big family do tonight. So my sister's down from
Sure you want
Queensland.
to do it?
Oh, look, I think so. It'll be the festivities will be finished by then, and might as well just carry on, keep the party going. Yeah.
Oh, well, don't worry if you're late anyway.
Yeah, we may be a bit late. We'll see how it goes. But it's a bit of a rare event. My sister is coming down from Queensland.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I haven't seen her for 8 years and years.
What part of Queensland?
She lives up in north of Brisbane somewhere.
Wonderful.
She usually lives most of her life in Switzerland and other countries.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, but she's been in Australia for a while.
I
Yeah.
was just wondering if the floods have affected it.
Look, they did previous. The last lot of floods, I think they actually got flooded. But I'll have to ask the question. It'll be nice to touch base and get the drill.
You will.
Yeah. So yes, they train elite athletes. That's their line of work.
Do they really?
Yeah, Olympic athletes.
Fascinating.
Yeah, they're in that league. So they.
Might be interesting to talk to.
Well, it's a fascinating field, and there'll be a lot of insights into the elite athletes world. But they're the successes in the family.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff. Yeah. Anyhow, well, and have you been keeping well?
Yes, I'm fine. Kathy's back's been playing up a bit, but
Okay.
I'm fine.
Sure. And you've got your bookings in for Easter for your your musical indulgence.
Yes, the tickets have arrived.
Oh, very
Well,
good.
they send them by email,
Yes,
print them out.
they do. It's all very straightforward, isn't it, these days with the tickets and things?
So that's all good.
Yeah, terrific. All right. Well,
Very good seats.
that's the way to go. You've got to sit and have the full experience of some Matthew Passion. Wow, it'll be
Yeah, I know.
incredible. We'll have to devote a program or two to movements from the Bucks and Matthew Passion closer to the time.
Lovely.
I think that'd be really good.
Yep.
Yeah. So, look, it's actually been a really just an exhaustive week on the coalface. So
Oh, yes.
I haven't done a lot of listening, but I found a really interesting podcast called A Sound of the Hound. And it's a couple of EMI executives. One fellow was the head of Abbey Road, and another chap have got together and they've done a retrospective on the history of the very, very early days of disc recording, going back to the early 1890s. And
That would be incredible.
it's really interesting because they sort of do it in a rather fanciful, unremarkable way.
Yes.
It's not just talking heads. They're just sort of looking at Fred Geisberg's diaries, and as younger people sort of discovering it's exactly the way I like things. I like it, with a degree of wonder and self-discovery through the process.
Absolutely.
And it is a fantastic set of podcasts. Every spare moment I've been listening to them, and they've chronicled, Fred Geisberg's movements. I didn't realise that he was the first Victor executive, and he did the world tour in 1902, 100 to 104.
Right.
And I think he went back in 05 and captured all this ethnic music. But what I didn't realise, he recorded nearly 2,000 records of of cultures, Japanese cultures, Malaysian, Singaporean, Chinese. It's just India. He'd spent a long time on the road.
It's amazing.
And amassed this remarkable archive. Now, I think only a fraction of it was actually produced, and I'm not sure about the status of the rest of it. But the
Still exists, doesn't it?
yeah, well, I hope so. But a fair amount of it was produced for the local market, because I think the idea behind it was he was trying to introduce the gramophone into those
To the countries,
into
yeah.
those countries. So it was sort of domestically driven. And he admits himself he didn't understand the music that he was recording. And but it's such a tantalising journey. It's just fascinating, especially when it comes from his diaries. And they're sort of, they're trying to sort of build the picture. And
Is it
look,
very technical in terms
it's
of the
not
equipment they were using?
a little bit. It provides some information, not terribly technical. I think it's sort of designed to be fairly loose in that way. But look, it's not the same. At the same time, it's not pedantic. It's it's completely captivating. I found it. So I might, I might feature them in the after 6 sessions. Won't be able to today, but in the later part of each missions for a while, I might just put a few on and see what people think, because it's a remarkable story. It's very interesting, and I've always been enticed by those early ethnic recordings made around the turn of the century, because they are truly astonishing. Historically, they're so important because it's capturing that music for the first time. And now we've featured quite a bit here and there. They don't play as much as they should. They do. It's mainly talking heads, unfortunately. So if I go ahead with this, I'll see if I can dredge up material to support the discussion and flesh it out a little bit. But that's been an exciting discovery. And there's another ethnic musicological YouTube channel, which is it's another universe. It's just totally extraordinary, which I've stumbled on as well. And that is I don't even know where to start, but they're excellent transcriptions of a whole range of ethnic musics and historic radio stuff, and particularly from Middle Eastern and Balkans and Eastern Europe. So that's another discovery. So there's been a couple of really, really exciting things. Yeah, so
incredible the amount of stuff out there,
It is, and stuff it's just suddenly mushrooming, just happening, and
so keep finding new stuff.
Yeah, it's totally extraordinary. The YouTube phenomena, it just is something beyond approach, really, in terms of what it offers in terms of different musics from different countries and historical perspectives. It's all there, really. So exciting times. So we'll definitely milk those archives. We'll just keep. I mean, it's every week we find something new, don't we? It was only a week or two ago that we found that I-78.
That's right.
Yes, and anyhow, it'll be good. Well, I can actually feature a little sample of the. I won't do the broadcast, but the podcast. I'll save that for another time, because there's many of those, and I think they need to sort of have to be played in their full expression. But whoops! So that wasn't supposed to happen. I'm just trying to find the file here. There's one here called Radio Tapes. Here it is. This is an example of this. It's a site called Radio is a Foreign Country. Is the name of the YouTube channel. Radio is a Foreign Country, and it's just hundreds of recordings, but they're just interesting, almost Kavaracek-like mismatches of material, and there's not a lot of information about where they come from and what they are. It's someone's collected this, but it's all in really good fi. So, or a lot of it is anyhow. And so, look, I'll play just 5 minutes of one called Radio Tapes. That's the name of the program. It's an hour long, but I'll play about 5 minutes of it just to present an example of this site called Radio is a Foreign Country. And I'm vk3sl.
vk3sl.
You're listening to Radio is a Foreign Country.
من 7 سنين على الضبط على الدقيقة كان عم بيسقط أول جايين للمقاومة اللبنانية بهالموقع هيدا بالذات، وعم تبدأ قصة كبيرة وعملية كبيرة قبل ما يتوطئوا عليه الأعداء، لأنه الأعداء كانوا معتلين هم نتفة بينما أصدقائه كانوا مستخفين فيه. باعونا الصلوات ومرة أبانا ومرة سلام، بطانيات وحرامات وضوء أحمر، بكل ما لكلمة من نعنى إنه 5 فلسطينيين ببوسطة ممكن يكبونا ببحر. مش رح نرجع كثير على صار فينا ما رح نتوقف كتير يمكن وصار معنا عند كل شيء. باختصار ب 13 نيسان 1982 يمكن نكون نقدر عم نقول هلا
أحلف بالله العظيم أني أحترم دستور الأمة اللبنانية وقوانينها وأحفظ استقلال الوطن اللبناني.
Okay, I'll just do a fade on that because I found a playlist. These are Lebanese political speeches. It's all pretty loaded and it's sort of a bit prescient, really, playing stuff like this. But I'll jump forward because there are other files here. There's another one's called Wires of Air, and it features music of Bulgaria a bit later on. So what we might do is just jump forward a little bit just to get a taste of the sort of thing on this remarkable site. It's quite fascinating, interesting pastiches. So we'll go with another sample from Radio Tapes of a site. Radio is a Foreign Country.
حتطلع على حجم الأضرار على حجم الأضرار على حجم الأضرار حجم الأضرار حجم الأضرار على على حجم الأضرار
And we'll move forward. That's a rather sort of random sample. We'll just see what else there is on this file. And so on. Ambience. That's a track called Radio Tapes. And that's a little bit more esoteric. That wasn't the track I was originally intending, but it's okay. It sort of sets, it paints a picture of the type of thing. But
it's like a sort of, a trip, an LSD trip.
Well, it's sort of like a musical. I don't know. It is a bit like that, I suppose. Just something that's random and sampled and recontextualized.
The track on a Beatles album called Revolution Number 9.
Oh yes.
And that is that sort of montagey sort of thing.
Sure. Yeah, look, it's effective in small doses, I suppose.
Does it sort of go anywhere, any identification of stations or anything like that?
Not particularly, not that particular one. Others do. Others are specifically folk-oriented Or in this instance, here's one of that the Japanese, some of these historical Japanese recordings.
What about music?
Most of them are music.
Most of them are music.
Yeah, that was a bit of an exception. That was more of an ambient expression. I had the wrong file up, but look, it presents something else of a
Look, I
of
can
a
see
sonic.
it has potential.
Yeah, look, it is fascinating. Just an amalgam of stuff. Have a listen to this early Japanese music from 1903.
It had some sort of echoes on it.
Yeah.
I've heard that. Hold on.
Yeah, sure.
It's got feedies.
Okay, that's
Here we
fine.
go. I heard an echo, and you've no doubt heard it too, you used to get it on Radio Australia where the signal would go right around the world.
Oh, right. Yes, and yes, I've heard that. Yes, it is an echo. It's like it's like reverb.
In fact, you get it on this vk3sl, who's running a 20 element on 20 metres.
Interesting. Isn't that interesting? Fascinating stuff. Yeah, well, look, this is just a taste. Here's a little bit more. Here's some of that early Japanese music we were talking about before.
Oh, good.
So there we have a sample of music from Japan, provincial music recorded well over 100 years ago, and it's a part of this archive which just began to explore, and it just looks so interesting. And everything I touch on is just this fascinating sort of sonic world. It's called Radio is a Foreign Country, is the name of the
that
site.
will be great.
So there's about 2 hours of that.
Okay.
There's so much material. It's astonishing. What I'll do is see if I can dial up another example. A lot of music from Africa. And,
Well, that's good.
and they seems to have been able to access, is one that says, Omoro sounds, cassettes and early synths from Ethiopia.
Excellent.
So here's another example from the same site. So there we have a sample of Oromo sounds, cassettes and early synth from Ethiopia. And that goes for about an hour as well. So all these are really extensive playlists, and they've all been compiled by this enigmatic site in Radio is a Foreign Country. All this material, but I like the presentation. I like the way it's been packaged. It's it sort of takes you on a journey, I think. Here's one, it's called Buddha Machine Radio. Now, how about this for a title that says here, Buddhist player machines and Hindu mantra or chanting machines are small plastic boxes resembling transistor radios that play various Buddhist and Hindu prayers and short music loops used for meditation. Found throughout India, China and Tibet, these portable, usually battery-powered, low-fi electronic devices are popular across the region. This mix features samples from these devices and the FM3 Buddha Machine brand, as well as a number of artists who manipulate them to create new sonic textures. It sounds very much like Mr. Kovaracek and the type of sonic worlds he was trying to create. Let's have a little listen, just a couple of minutes, of Buddha Machine Radio.
Very good.
Dare dare go, dare do 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 dare dare go. Dare do dare dare go, 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 dare do dare dare go.
And there we have an hour devoted to Buddhist machine radio chants.
That's amazing stuff.
Isn't it just extraordinary? What interesting sound worlds. These are part of everyday lives. These little machines, what people, like transistor radios that people took around and it gave them their sort of prayer vehicle.
I know.
And this has been sort of assembled out of those that samples. Now, I just think that is a really dynamic, interesting way into entry into another world.
Totally is.
It just goes on. Here's another one, South Indian Mandolin, and this says here, the soulful sounds of South Indian mandolin featuring Ulapo Svianis, a child prodigy who at the age of 9 introduced the mandolin to the Carnatic tradition.
Nice.
Something that usually takes generations, and self-taught sisters popular goes on, and it gives you a example of some rather sort of specific Indian mandolin music via one particular artist. There's 2 hours of this.
Incredible stuff.
and so it goes.
Sort of stuff I used to hear on All India Radio.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh,
I
wow.
was fascinated then, and I still am.
Yeah, it's a great sound, isn't it? Now, it's interesting here what would usually I would sort of identify with the sitar. He's playing on the mandolin, this player. But I mean, I'd love to discover more about this young person who transcended generations of historical pretext, you know? It's just...
Absolutely.
It's just incredible. There's another one here called Amazonian Cumbia.
Oh my God.
So we could have a listen to I'll sample a few of these because they are just so alluring and takes me away. So Amazonian Cumbia, another selection from this interesting site called Radio is a Foreign Country, a YouTube channel certainly worth investigating. There we have our selection of Amazonian Cumbia. So yeah, we're sort of travelling far and wide here via this site, and I'm just I'm not promoting it. I'm just experiencing it.
It's wonderful.
It's incredible. Here another one here called Gonzo Ethnomusicology.
Oh, really?
What a title, Gonzo Ethnomusicology. Now this one is interesting because it's a playlist he's assembled. It says here, an immersive, well, she says, I don't know who's compiled this, an immersive and hypnotic. It says immersive and hypnotic. This mixtape features mostly manipulated field recordings of obscure sounds and music from Tanzania to Borneo. So, and it starts off with exploding suitcases from Radio Palestine.
Oh my God.
Okay. Sounds of Eastern Mediterranean, fade from air tapes, evacuation series, echoes from unquantized World 101. It's just all sorts of really weird, esoteric material from various archives. But the good thing is that I don't know how it comes across on air, but the production standards are quite high, whereas a lot of...
Yes, it's very clear. It's got very clean recordings out there.
That makes the world of difference, because there's all sorts of amazing stuff out there, but so much of it is muffle missions or just badly transferred from vinyl or from other secondary sources.
It kind of spoils it, doesn't it?
It does. It's hard to listen to, and even the lo-fi stuff here on this site is sort of regulated lo-fi, if you know what I mean. It's
low. Have really specially interesting content, or you say, why bother? You know?
Yeah, exactly. So it's been well resourced and well calibrated and very well presented. So let's have a listen, just a sample of Gonzo Ethnomusicology.
I'm going to have to go soon, unfortunately.
Okay, I'll make this
early dinner.
Yeah, sure, and I've got to do the same. We'll just play a short example. Okay, it just keeps going, and there's a lot more to that, but I realise we have to wind up. But just before doing so, I'll just read out some of the titles here, just to sort of tantalise the listener. And we have Cassette Music, X-Gun J, we have Electro Tiki, we have Southeast Asia at 78 RPM, that'll be good.
Oh, yeah.
An hour of Southeast Asia at 78 RPM, selection of Vietnamese and Cambodian shellac. Oh,
wow.
That's good. Afghan Records, Compare Isaloof and the Noble Kings from 1978, Ak Channel, Latauan folk music, transmissions from the Indonesian archipelago.
That'd be good.
Yeah, that'll be most interesting. Thailand psychedelic country sounds.
That'd be psychedelic country.
I know, it's amazing.
That
Rongjeng.
was on LSD.
Yeah, I'd say so. Rongjeng dance mixtape, Radio Siquera, a lot of African stuff here, tons of African stuff. Taxi music, and yeah, it's some lounge music, lots of folk music, heaps of ethno-musicological stuff, and mostly from Asia and from Middle Europe and Eastern Europe. And Balkan Psych. Love it. I can't wait to hear that one, Balkan Psych.
Oh,
that'll be good.
Very topical.
Yeah. Shan State Garage Rock, Radio Nepal. That'll be interesting. Whole stack of Radio Nepal. Gongs of every power.
I love gongs.
Oh, gong therapy, it says here. Oh.
Well, yeah, I know.
But here we go. You'll love this one. Bollywood Steel Mixtape.
Have you ever experienced Tibetan bowls?
I have. It's incredible. It's a sonic
totally
experience.
Is, yeah.
It livens the room. The room rings.
I know. I've got one. I've got a few of them.
Do you really? Oh wow! Once they're in motion, the ring just sort of it's all encompassing. It's amazing. Now this has inspired me. I've got a lot of recordings, would you believe, actually from the Ukraine, from when we walked there. We did a lot of walking in the Ukraine.
Oh, really?
A long time ago, and I recorded. I took a DAT machine at that time and some in-ear microphones.
Oh, wonderful.
And I made, what they call it, binaural recordings of just southern Ukraine. It's not really the area that's in the news at the moment. It's the part of Ukraine. It used to be a part of Europe. And, they're part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And there's a lot of sonic, Ukraine ambience and sounds of the bells in the valleys and the church, the bells, the church bells and the shepherds and their music and
Excellent.
pub sounds and just sort of samples.
You
There's
must
hours
play
of it.
it.
I'll have to dig it up. It's on a DAT tape. I'll have to organise to dub it off.
Have you got a DAT machine?
I've got the original one. It's under the house. I'll pull it out. This is hearing all of this stuff has sort of brought that all to the fore. So
yeah, that'd be really worth it.
that'd be interesting to do. Maybe we could do it by binaural missions.
Yes, I don't know about binaural. We could do stereo.
We could do stereo. We could try the binaural approach. And everyone have to put their binaural headphones on and listen on.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's a thought. Well, look, I acknowledge the fact that you're going to head off. I've got to go soon as well. So this is just a sample program, I suppose. And we'll be back later. And look, we'll just wing it tonight, I think, with Dizzy Gillespie. And I'll bring out the remaining records in the batch here. And we'll just see where it leads us. If you've got the tracks that you'd like to play, we can dial them up on the fly and
That sounds fine.
and to see how it all progresses. That could be good.
I'll monitor from 11:30, and so no matter what time you get home, don't worry about it.
Okay, no worries at all. Yes, I hope to start around about that time, but I may be a little bit late, but we'll see how we go. Or I might need to have a few glasses of water before I start up again.
Okay.
Maybe. All right then, folks. Thanks, Frank. It's great to catch up. And
Likewise, Steve.
yes, and we'll speak to you later on. And I'll find something from this playlist, I think, just for the next 5 minutes, just to ride out with. So, cheers, folks. We'll catch you later on. vk3sl. Now, clear.
Closing down.
This is a track entitled Night Music from the Amazonian lowlands. tone tests from VK3SL.